What if there were a male-only city where no females are allowed? Is there such a city today? Imagine a city where only men are allowed to live, a place entirely without women. What would such a society look like? How would it function? And more importantly, does a city like this exist today or has it ever existed in history? In this video, we will dive into the idea of male-only cities, exploring both real-world examples and what history tells us about gender-segregated communities. The concept of a male-only city. The concept of a male-only city might sound like something out of a science fiction novel, but it's an idea that has intrigued philosophers, writers, and even governments throughout history. Why would a city exclude women, and how would it operate? This type of gender segregation has roots in the way societies have organized themselves based on roles, tradition, and sometimes religious or cultural beliefs. Historical precedents of gender segregation. First, let's take a look at historical examples of gender segregation. While the idea of an entire male-only city may not be common, there have certainly been places where men and women lived separately for significant periods. Monasteries and monastic communities. One of the earliest and most enduring examples of male-only living arrangements can be found in religious monastic communities. Christian monasteries, for instance, have existed for centuries and were designed to be entirely male environments, where monks dedicated their lives to prayer, labor, and religious study. Similarly, there were female-only convents for nuns. While these weren't cities in the traditional sense, they were large, self-sufficient communities that operated separately from society. Military encampments and ancient warriors. Another historical example includes ancient military camps and garrisons. In places like ancient Sparta, the life of a Spartan male was centered around military training from a young age. Men lived in military barracks away from women until they reached a certain age or level of military achievement. The focus was on brotherhood, discipline, and combat readiness, and this separation was considered crucial for maintaining a warrior society. Modern day male-only places. So, does a male-only city or region exist today? While there are no official cities where women are outright banned, there are certain places around the world that are predominantly male for various reasons. Work camps and oil rigs. In many parts of the world, work camps related to industries like oil, mining, or construction are overwhelmingly male. These aren't male-only cities in the strict sense, but they function similarly. For example, oil rigs in remote locations such as those in the Middle East or the North Sea are staffed almost entirely by men. The harsh working conditions and isolated environments mean that these communities are temporary and built specifically around male labor. Monastic state of Mount Athos. One of the most fascinating modern examples of a male-only community is Mount Athos, a monastic state in northeastern Greece. Mount Athos is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and has been an autonomous region of Greece for over 1,000 years. Only men are allowed to enter this 335 square kilometer area, and it's home to around 2,000 monks living in 20 monasteries. The ban on women, known as the Avaton, has been enforced since Byzantine times and is rooted in religious beliefs. Even female animals are prohibited with the exception of cats and hens, as the latter are needed for eggs. Men-only clubs and societies. In various parts of the world, there are private clubs and societies that remain male-only, though these are becoming less common due to changing social norms and gender equality movements. Examples include exclusive gentlemen's clubs in London, some of which have histories that go back to the 18th century. These clubs were originally created for male aristocrats to socialize, discuss politics, and network in a male-only space. What would a male-only city look like? So, what if there really were a male-only city today? Let's think about what the practical and social implication would be. Economic activities and labor. A male-only city would likely focus heavily on industries that have traditionally employed more men, such as construction, engineering, and heavy manufacturing. The economy might be structured around physical labor and technology-based sectors, with less emphasis on service like childcare or family-oriented businesses. Social dynamics and relationships. Socially, a male only city would face unique challenges. How would friendships, partnerships, and family life be organized? We know from studies on single gender schools and institutions that the dynamics can be very different when only one gender is present. There would probably be a strong emphasis on male camaraderie and perhaps even a hierarchical social order as seen in military settings. Health and well-being. Another aspect to consider is health and emotional well-being. Research has shown that men are often less likely to seek medical help or discuss emotional issues compared to women. In a city with no female presence, there might be fewer health services that focus on holistic care or emotional support, potentially leading to issues like higher stress or mental health challenges. Potential criticisms and controversies. The concept of a male only city isn't without controversy. Gender segregation can reinforce harmful stereotypes and limit opportunities for social and cultural exchange. Critics argue that gender segregated spaces can perpetuate inequality and create environmentals that lack balance. Moreover, the idea of excluding an entire gender from a city raises ethical questions about freedom and human rights. Take, for example, the criticism faced by Mount Athos. Human rights organizations have questioned whether the ban on women violates principles of equality. However, defenders argue that the tradition is a crucial part of the religious and cultural heritage of the area. In the end, while the idea of a male-only city may sound intriguing or even dystopian, history shows us that gender-segregated communities have existed in various forms, often driven by cultural, religious, or practical reasons. Whether it's the ancient monasteries or modern work camps, these male-only spaces have always come with their own set of challenges and controversies. What are your thoughts on this topic? Do you think a male-only city could ever work in today's world? Or is it an idea best left in the past? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more fascinating explorations into history and society. Thanks for watching and see you next time. And remember, history isn't just about the past, it's about understanding the forces that shape our present and future.